Okay, well, let's see. There we go. I was, for some reason, not the host. Now I'm the host. So let me do one quick thing here. So I am sharing this on Facebook, just in the private group, so that there's, hang on, I can't talk and type at the same time. Summer, All right, so that you can easily find this afterwards. So it will be in the that summer camp marketing support group that I had you all. I've been sharing the link to get to that group, and so it will be there. And after we're done with this class today, I will be putting it on a recap page that will include the emails that you're receiving and the handouts and the live video, so that other people who can join, who join later, people who join later will be able to watch it. Or if you want to share it with somebody else in your office, you can do that. So that will be, so it'll be both in the Facebook group, and I will be putting together a recap page that will have everything on it. Okay. And so without further ado, I'm going to hop right in to talking about our topic today, which is parent purchase triggers. This is based on loads of research that we have done over the years. Pretty much every year I try to do a parent survey. Now, let me make sure, and my helper Bill is here to make sure that I'm on track. Can everyone see a page that says parent purchase triggers at the top? Thumbs up if you see what I'm sharing with you. Yes? Is that good? Okay. So, all right, so this 2-day class, and I'm going to zoom right through this, but you have all of this information in the handouts that I emailed to you. And actually, later today, I'm going to prepare a second copy of this that's less colorful, so that it doesn't like kill your printer to print this off. You can print off a less colorful version of it and not use quite as much ink. So I will send that to you later today as well. But anyway, so it's a 2-day class. Today's class, we're talking about the parents' purchase triggers. That is, what is it that makes parents select one camp over another? What are the things that are top of their mind, most important issues that they're facing right now? And then tomorrow is going to all be about getting listed on Camps Rock for free, and exactly how you do that. And I'm just going to make it as easy as possible. It really is, depending on how many camps you offer, but it is a very simple process to add your own camps. It's completely self-service, and I'll show you all about that tomorrow. But today we're talking about parents. And I know that, like, the reason that you got into this business is not because you love working with parents. There may be occasional parents that you really enjoy, and that's wonderful, but there's probably also some parents that are a little bit painful. But the problem is that your marketing materials and the person who will end up ultimately making the purchase, holds the purse strings, is the parent or the guardian or sometimes the grandparents, but it's not the kids. And so while what you spend a lot of time developing is your materials for the kids and how much fun they will have and everything, it really is the parents that you have to attract with your marketing materials. So they are the ones who hold the purse strings. Even though the kids have a lot of influence, really, ultimately, it will be the parents that decide. So what we're going to talk about today is the top 3 things parents are most concerned about regarding camp. I'm going to introduce you to what I call the Pentagon of parent persuasion, the 5 pillars of persuading parents. And you are going to work on writing your marketing message so that you are addressing these concerns in the marketing materials that you put out. All right. Moving to page 2. The top three concerns, and I'm going to show you some of our research in a moment, but price is definitely by far and away the most, the highest concern that parents express in the surveys that we've done. 78% of parents say that price is one of the most important factors in choosing a day camp. 66%, so it's a little bit less sensitive for overnight camps. 66% say that price is a fairly strong contributing factor. Just overall, 64% of parents said that the most difficult thing about finding summer camps is finding something in a comfortable price range. The number two thing that they're most concerned about is making sure that their kid is not bored. When you think about, like, you know, they're purchasing, unless they've been to your camp before, their child has been to your camp before, and if they don't know anything about you, the biggest fear is that they take their child there, and by the end of the first day, the child doesn't want to go back again the next day. So that happens, and parents are very, very sensitive about that. So boredom is the number one aspect that kids dislike the most about camp. And the second, actually, is also really important, is making that they feel nervous about meeting new kids or going somewhere where they don't know anybody, and worrying about whether they're going to feel welcomed. And then the third thing parents are interested in is safety and reviews. So they want to know, are you, you know, is your camp safe, a safe place for them to take their child? And what do other parents say? Unsolicited third-party sorts of unbiased reviews about your camp from other parents. Okay. These are just some of the bits of information from some of the research that we've done. The first question here, the overall question was, what is the biggest problem you face? This is asking parents, what is the biggest problem you face when scheduling your camps? They were allowed to select up to 3 choices. And so you can see here, finding camps in a comfortable price range. If you can read that, it's on the handouts. You are looking at exactly what is included in the handouts, so you'll be able to see that. But 64% say finding camps in a comfortable price range. Finding specific dates was the number 2 answer, and then the number 3 answer was finding camps in the proper age range for their child. Important factors for day camps. I asked these questions a little bit differently because there are some different considerations for parents who are choosing day camps versus those that are looking for overnight or residential camps. But 78% on a day camp, the question about day camp was price, 74% was location, and then 61%, I'm sorry, that's 51%, said theme of the camp. Again, they could choose 3 choices. That's why these numbers don't add up to 100%. So if you're wondering why this is way more than 100%, because they could each choose up to 3 choices. And then for overnight camps, again, as I said, the price sensitivity was a little bit less. So 66% said of their top 3 choices, price was one of them. Safety was for an overnight camp. And I think that's sort of interesting. Like the day camps were, let's see, 19% said safety was a concern for day camps, but for overnight camps, it was quite a bit more. 52% were concerned about safety. So you can use that if you're an overnight camp to really make sure that you're stressing the sorts of safety things that you do to, to make sure that kids are safe there. This was, now this is parents answering on behalf of their children. This was not a survey for children, but the parents were answering what were the top 3 aspects of camp that they feel their child enjoys the most. And of that, it was wide variety of activities was 78%. Spending time outside was high, 64%, and learning new things. So according to the parents' opinion, that's what they feel their children enjoy the most. But what they feel their children dislike the most, and you see here, this is what I was talking about, being bored is a big, big concern. 40% say their children dislike the most being bored at camp. And 35% say being nervous about meeting new kids. By the way, and just an aside, I don't have this in the set of slides, but I also did ask a question about kids wanting to go to camp with their friends, and it's a huge number. It's like 70% of kids would rather go to camp with a friend, which might be a great marketing avenue as well, to make sure to remind families to encourage, you know, their children to get a friend to sign up to camp with them. All right, next. Okay, so the Pentagon of Parent Persuasion. So what we're going to work on today is for your marketing materials, and I know you probably already have your marketing materials, either maybe they're being printed now, maybe they're have already been mailed out. Certainly you've got your website all set up at this point or close. So I'm not necessarily saying to change what you already are doing or how you've already named your camps, but I think these are things that you can use as you are communicating with parents at this time of year, whether you're sending emails or you're doing social media posts or you know, other kinds of marketing that you might be doing aside from your actual printed materials. So we're going to talk about the hook. That is something that is uniquely yours. We're going to talk about the Boardbusters. That was part of that morning exercise that we did, that just like big random list of words that define or sort of describe what your camp is all about. We're going to talk about the vision, and this is really the thing that we're going to spend most of our time on today. And then I'm going to touch again on safety and pricing and how you can incorporate those things into your marketing message. All right. So the Boardbusters, I'm going to actually do that first. Hopefully you had an opportunity to think about that today. Some of you I know went out into the Facebook group and posted some of the fun, crazy words that you might use to describe some of the activities that the kids do in your camp. But this is a great way to just think about, like, from a child's perspective, what are the things that you feel are the most exciting and interesting and fun things that kids will do in your program. And this will ultimately help us with the hook and also the vision. Okay. So the hook is, and again, as I said, you probably already have named all of your camps. I talk about this though because of being Camps Rock and the summer camp directory that we have. I do see a lot of names of camps, and some are just frankly more sort of enticing or interesting than others. So maybe challenging yourself to think about, you know, how can I name this in a way that is like going to really capture somebody's attention or imagination about what happens inside this camp. And I put a note here, the hook is for the kids and the vision, which we're going to work on next, is for the parents. So try some of these things with those. You're going to use the Boardbusters, that whole list that you brainstormed of the fun different things that you do, and see what you can do to create, you know, using these examples to create sort of a hook. Could be a tagline, could be an opening sentence, but try yay and yay. So my example is unicorns and knights in shining armor. Those are like something kids love and something else kids love. Try alliteration. So that's my example, adventures in art. Try rhyming words, creation, exploration, or try putting together a number of similar words in a fun kind of way. So fun, messy, colorful art attack. So that is just the hook, and you may already have some of those. That is the way you've already named some of your camps. But now I want to talk about the vision, and this is what I want to spend most of our time on today, and that is basically the parent is, we've already mentioned this, the parent is the person who is your buyer. So in any sales job, one of the things you have to do is figure out who is the decision maker, so that if you are, you know, communicating with somebody, that you're communicating with the right person, the person who's actually going to make the decision and going to make the purchase. So in this case, it is the parents or the guardian, or sometimes grandparents, or some other person who's caring for this child. But anyway, so you really do need to be paying attention to the needs of the parent. The parent, and this is true in any sales situation, there's needs, and that's kind of the logical side of your brain, the things that you need to find. If you're going to a store and you need to find, thread, you have a specific need. But the wants and desires is the emotional part. There's probably not a whole lot of emotionality to thread, but there's a lot of emotionality to these summer camp options that parents are looking at. So that's really where the sale will happen, is in the wants and desires. There's the needs is more about, do you fit the criteria of what they're looking for? And then the wants and desires are these things that are going to make up this vision that I'm talking about, that you want to relay. Okay, so the logical side, this is features. This is, do your features match what they need? Things like time, the age range, the price, the dates, other things like that that are important to the parents from just strictly a functionality standpoint. And then the other thing about the logical side would be, is there data to support their decisions? So just like you might do if you were going to purchase something, you might go and look at consumer reports. They're wanting to look at reviews from another, independent person who has a review or opinion about your camp. But on the emotional side, this is where your written materials need to cover all this fun stuff. What are the fun things the kids are going to be doing? What's the environment like? What are special features that justify the price that you charge? Who are the leaders? And what are their qualifications? And how do you deal with safety procedures and things like that? And things, even what is your company philosophy? And a parent might be very curious to know, do you fit into kind of what they feel? So I've given you some worksheets in here to play around with some of this. The first thing I would attempt to do is take your Boardbusters, that whole list of all of the fun things that you do at camp, and try to put together a small paragraph or a couple of small paragraphs that incorporate as many of those fun words as you can. And then I also have in the handout some, I call them like Mad Libs. I'm sure you know what I'm referring to if you've played around with Mad Libs, where you do a verb and an adverb and all that kind of stuff. So in this, here's an example. If your child enjoys, and then you would plug in, what is the most awesome thing you do at camp? And a second awesome thing that you do at camp, and maybe a third awesome thing that you do at camp. Then look no further, because our and your camp name is going to keep your child feel in a positive feeling, number one, and a positive feeling, number two. And down below, I've given an example of this sort of thing, filled out. So if your child enjoys unicorns, pretending to be a princess or a knight, and having lots of silly fun with art, creation, and their imagination, then look no further, because our Unicorns and Knights in Shining Armor Camp is going to keep your child entertained and excited from the first day of friend making to the last afternoon, concluding with a play they will share with you. Notice that I threw in there the friend making, because that's something that we know that kids are concerned about, that they're going to make new friends. We talked about something that is perhaps going to come home with them, some craft that they're going to bring home, or something the parents are going to be able to see, or some new skills that they're going to learn. Those would all be things that you could incorporate into this sort of a thing. And then I have two more of these Mad Lib things that you can play with, and then you can come up with your own. But the idea just being like incorporating a lot of these fun and interesting things into the way you describe your camp. So it's not just, we're going to play basketball, but, there's a lot of things that you're going to incorporate into a fun week full of basketball, right? So I'm going to pause for just a moment and see if anyone has any questions. Let's see. So if anything comes up in your mind, questions, please pop that in the chat box. And so far, I don't see any. And also, in just a few minutes, we are going to draw from those of you who are here live, and someone is going to win a full. Thank you, Corinne. I'm glad you think they're fun ideas. Someone is going to win a 1 year of our platinum upgrade on Camps Rock. I'll be telling you all about Camps Rock and what that is tomorrow, but that'll be kind of fun. Okay, here are some more things to maybe think about and kind of have written out, some things that can help with those emotional connections with the parents. What is your camp company philosophy? Who are your camp leaders? I think parents really like to know that. How do you select your leaders, and do they have any special qualifications? Sometimes there are camps where there is somebody somewhat famous in that field who is going to be one of the camp leaders. Maybe you're doing some stuff that's virtual and you literally have somebody famous on a virtual part of your camp or something like that. What is the space that your camp is held like? How big is it? Pictures are wonderful if you can share pictures. How much time did the children spend inside versus outside? And then talking about your safety policies. What are there certain activities that might be more dangerous or require special, like a lifeguard, or you're going to go horseback riding or whatever. All right. The safety concerns and parent ratings I put together because I feel like they're just very related to each other, because it is that very what parents are concerned about, and getting the third-party recommendations from other parents who have actually experienced your camp is just as important as for them to understand your safety, your safety measures. So I gave you some examples there. I do think that mentioning your safety, whether you actually just link them to a page on your website where you have your safety procedures written out, or maybe you have an abridged version of your safety procedures. And so that a parent who's really concerned about that kind of thing can read that a little bit more, or even if you don't want to necessarily do that, that you do acknowledge in your materials that, their child is of your utmost concern, kind of thing. And then, of course, getting accreditation by the ACA or the CCA, getting that badge on your website, or if you don't actually have those accreditations, you can get other kinds of trainings and put badges on your website that show that your counselors are trained in bullying awareness types of training, or you have an on-staff either health officer, an on-staff nurse, that kind of thing. Yes, the worksheets were shared in the same email that this Zoom link was on. In that same email, a little bit farther down, were the worksheets. And as I said at the beginning, I'm going to redo these as well in a more less ink use, less colorful, and more printer friendly version that I will send you a little bit later today as well. All right. Okay, and then I want to talk about parent ratings and the difference between having testimonials on your website and having reviews that are somewhere on a third-party platform, not your own website. So of course, your testimonials are really important as well, and they're wonderful. But everyone knows that when you have testimonials and whatnot on your own website, that is something that is curated, right? You pick the best ones to put on your website, and that's completely understandable. That's the way you would do it. And it's great to have all those wonderful testimonials, but it's also really great to have the third party, completely unbiased, unedited sorts of reviews. And if you're doing an excellent job, that's probably not a bad thing to have, right? So you can get those on your Facebook business page. You can get them, sometimes those will be on the Better Business Bureau. Google My Business, which is now called Google Business Profile Manager, and you can request those of your families. So if you have families that are giving you great reviews anyway, give them a link and ask them to give you a review on Google My Business, or give you a link on Camps Rock. Obviously, that's where we would love for you to have parents, point your parents to give you reviews on Camps Rock. So how does that work on our website? And again, I'll be showing you all of this tomorrow, but parents can leave a review. Everything goes through Bill, or I. Bill is my husband and partner in business. And we personally review all of the parent ratings and parent reviews that are written. I do that. It's very, very rare, but every once in a while, something bad will come through. And so we're just very safe about making sure that all the language that are in those reviews is appropriate. And then we would give you an opportunity. If for some reason there was a negative review, we would give you an opportunity to comment on that before we post it live. I think in all, it's been 7 years, I think we've had maybe 2 or 3 negative reviews. So it's very, very rare, but, and then we send you the review in an email as well so that you can use it, and so that you know that you got one. And then it adds extra text onto your page. And again, tomorrow I'll show you what that looks like. So it's great to have that third party review on Camps Rock. Let's see. Almost done. Okay, we're going to talk briefly about pricing, and I will tell you that I do not have new data about pricing for this year. Obviously, COVID has made some just massive changes, kind of ripple effect changes to everything. I think people very much understand that, and your prices probably will go up, and they should go up. And now you're stuck with that question of like, how much? But obviously your pricing needs to cover your costs and cover the fact that you probably have to pay some of your employees more. That seems to be a very big trend that's happening without even minimum wage going up. A lot of our young adults are being offered a lot more money in different places. So yeah, anyway, so your pricing can go up. So here was one question that I have asked on the survey, which was what features that a parent would be willing to pay more for. And so you could use this to, like, is your camp higher price? Use some of this information to help you maybe justify that higher price. Do you have specialized topics that nobody else is offering? Do you have extra cost to the materials that you provide? Something I don't have in here, but that might include things like field trips, and the cost of all field trips are obviously going up as well. Is it a camp that has some kind of dangerous activity, and you need to have like horseback riding, for example? Do you have a perceived higher quality than other competitors that are offering something similar to yours? Do you have expert camp leaders? So all of these things that would be the types of things that parents would pay more for would be places where you can bring that out in your verbiage and your wording of what you're, how you're marketing each of your different camps. And then I also included this bit about extended care. And I don't know whether or not you offer extended care for your camps, but if you do, here's some feedback from parents about how they feel about the cost of extended care. And I wrote here, like, to me, based on all of the information that I've gathered over the years, I feel like if it's possible to do it, and I know that this adds extra overhead perhaps to your situation, but splitting your extended care between morning and evening so that they only pay for what they need, but that they do pay an extra fee for, one of the things I mentioned here is to remember to take into account those people who don't need that extra care. So you've got people who feel like the extra extended care should be included, and other people who say, I don't need the extended care, so I don't want it to be part of what I'm paying for. And so, you know, it's a balancing act, but figuring out how maybe if your prices have to increase, maybe extended care can be part of those increased prices. Let's see. And then finally, in terms of pricing, and actually not just pricing, but kind of all of what we've just talked about, doing your own research can be really fun. I personally have used SurveyMonkey for all the surveys that I've done, just because that's what I started with, and I just always continued to use it. You can actually do a free survey for, I think you're limited to 10 questions. So I've generally purchased, just for the month or two that I want to run my survey, I've purchased the upgraded SurveyMonkey so that I could ask more than 10 questions to more than, I think it's like 100 people you can ask, or you can get feedback from. But anyway, so then you can do your own research on pricing for your customers. You know, how do they feel about your current pricing? Ask them, what are some of the features that they feel are superior about your camp over other camps? Why did they choose you? Asking them about extended care, asking them about discounts and whether they would take advantage of that. Or sometimes there may be things that you could do even in your own kind of back office data, like looking at how many people take advantage of things like sibling discount versus a friends and family discount versus a member discount. And, you know, is there something that might be more advantageous for you to offer? All right. So I've gone quickly because I said I would do this in a half an hour. But what I would love for you to do is after class today, when you get done with playing around with that vision statement and kind of putting together a paragraph or two that would include kind of those boredom busters and the fun words that you came up with. I would love for you to go on the Facebook group and post that. I will personally go out and review all of those that are posted, so that and give you my comments and feedback and suggestions of what I would suggest. And I think without further ado, hopefully Bill is ready to help me pick one person who's going to win the platinum package. And he has done that. This is based on those who are here present today. And Jenny Borkowski is our winner. Jenny, and I think that's, if I remember right, is this Sports for Girls or something like that? I don't have the Facebook page up right now, so I can't see it. And let me check to see if there's any comments on the Facebook. No. So congratulations, Jenny, and I will be in touch with you this afternoon because you actually will be my demonstration for tomorrow. I'm going to use your at least one or two of your camps to demonstrate the entering of the camp into Camps Rock, and then you'll get the platinum upgrade. So tomorrow is really important. That is where I'm going to teach you how you can be listed in Camps Rock for free. We give you a ton for free. This is not it's for real, and you don't give your credit card or anything. You can join us and list all of the camps that you offer. And I'm really excited tomorrow to share that with you. So I want to stop now and ask if there are any questions. Anybody have any questions about any of the stuff that I have shared with you today? I am going to stop sharing my screen. Are there any questions? And actually, too, if you want to just unmute yourself, you can do that as well if you want to just ask the question rather than typing it in chat. All right. All right. Good, Alexis, I'm glad you thought it was helpful information. I know I went really fast. We'll have a chance to, look at all that. Hopefully everybody got the handouts in the email. If you did not, just send me a reply. And like I said, later today, I'll be putting out the recap page that will have the replay of this video and also the version of the printable that doesn't use quite as much of your good ink. So, all right. Bill, I don't know if you want to unmute yourself and say hello.
Hello. I hope everyone's doing well and enjoyed it.
So we are this oddball couple that we are married couple that works together all day, every day, and we make it work. So, all right. If you think of any other questions, pop on the Facebook group and ask, or you can send me a private email as well. I'm always here to help answer any questions. All right. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.